Nigerians are expected to seek out the best.
Two words to describe the activity.
Nigerians are saying, say to you on
be the first to know
on CoreTV News
from the north, south, east, west, and around Africa.
presidential
We break the news. Now you can catch all the actions live.
I belong to everybody.
As the news breaks, we are CoreTV News.
There, welcome to CoreTV Primetime News.
A 24-hour news station.
Hello there, thank you for joining us on the news at this hour. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. President Muhammadu Buhari has relieved service chiefs of their positions. The affected officers are Sambo Dasuki, National Security Advisor, Alex Bade, Chief of Defense Staff, Usman Jibrin, Chief of Naval Staff, Kenneth Menima, Chief of Army Staff, and Adeshola Amoso, who prior to this time was Chief of Air Staff. Suspected Boko Haram militants launched an attack on the prison in southern Niger town of Difa late on Saturday, according to military sources, in an apparent bid to free fellow members of the sect held there. 3 of the assailants and 1 soldier were killed before the attack was repelled. According to the sources, Boko Haram also attacked the prison in February. A second military source said the attackers may have been residents of Difa, as no one had seen them enter the town. Boko Haram is seeking to carve out an Islamic state in northeast Nigeria. Despite losing territory to an offensive by regional militaries this year, Boko Haram has carried out a wave of deadly attacks in Nigeria, Chad, and Niger in recent weeks. The group has sworn allegiance to Islamic State, which has declared an Islamic caliphate in the large parts of Iraq and Syria that it controls. Well, exactly 1 week after a twin bomb blast killed scores in Jos, the capital city of Plateau State, an Ekwa church in Tudunwada area of Jos was again the target on Sunday morning when several explosive devices were planted within the church premises. The device was said to have been discovered by a guard who picked and threw it across the fence before it went off. Church members who spoke with our correspondent said the church, which often welcomed 1,500 members every Sunday, was filled to capacity during the incident.
While most Christians in Nigeria went about their religious obligation in church, little did the worshippers at the evangelical church winning halls, Ekwa, Tudunwada, and Jos, the Plateau State capital, knew it would be a close shave with disaster on the day. For these worshippers, it was a day they will never forget.
When I had the blast in the church this morning, I was confused. I thought it was even a gunshot. I was asking my neighbor in the church. I said, is that a gunshot? He said, mommy, that one is more than gunshot. So that was how it all went, and with the Lord on our side, the service was able to come to an end. We were able to do our worship fully because it was a praise worship service. And we really worship God because He's the one in control. He's the one that covered us with His blood. If not, it would have been something else because that congregation is a very large congregation.
Our church normally takes up to about 1,500 people. Though last Sunday it was 1,400 and something, as it was announced in church this morning. But generally we range between that number and 1,005. And people were a little bit restless after the first sound, but at the end of the day, it was.
David Gwanji, an elder in the church, says, but for security arm, the story would have been different. He added that explosions are heard on a daily basis in Jos and that some even go unreported until casualties are involved.
When the explosion occurred, almost everybody was frightened. People were not sure what happened. Most of the people in church were asking, what is it? Is it a gunshot or a blast or whatever? But those of us who have been listening very well to the kinds of sounds that come out now and again knew that it was a blast. the people at the Home of Affairs in church were able to calm the people down, and there was no stampede. I think that helped a lot. It helps in keeping everybody quiet. It was a praise and worship service, and it continued after the first blast. But I learned that there was another blast, but it was not as serious as the first one, because we were all singing and praising God, and then that one happened. But by that time, the anti-bomb squad had already arrived.
Why the state and federal governments continue to work at finding solution to the incessant bloodletting in the state, it is a clarion call that needs to be heeded before the frustration of residents boil over.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has opposed a bail application made on behalf of a former head of service of the federal government, Stephen Orosai, after his arraignment before a federal high court in Abuja on Monday. The Orosai's counsel, Chief Kanu Agabi-san, and that of the co-accused person, Oluwole Aladedoye, made an oral application asking the court to release the clients on bail. Agabi argued that under the new administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015, an accused person was entitled to bail and oral application. But EFCC's prosecutor, Aliyu Yusuf, argued that oral application for bail was not permitted in view of the provision of Section 162 of the ACJA. He said bail could only be granted judicially and not judiciously, and based on materials in the form of affidavit evidence placed before the court. Yusuf asked the court to remand the accused persons to prison and sought an adjournment to Wednesday to enable him to respond to the written bail. A heat-up seemed to be brewing now between the presidency and the Senate over the summon of the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Finance, Anastasia Nwobia. Pro-Saraki senators are accusing the presidency of instigating the permanent secretary not to honor an invitation by the upper chamber. Nwobia had communicated to the Senate that she would not honor its invitation without an approval by her supervisors to do so. But the Saraki loyalists said the Senate had the constitutional power to invite Nwobia and that her refusal constituted an affront to the legitimacy of the Senate president. The Saraki loyalists believe apparently resting on the alleged non-acceptance of his presidency by the All Progressives Congress and President Muhammadu Buhari. A pro-Saraki senator told newsmen in Abuja on Sunday that it would not augur well for democracy if the presidency would not allow civil servants to do their jobs. He went ahead to say that they should not carry the crisis in the APC to the Senate. Both Saraki and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara, had spawned the party's directive on who to lead the National Assembly and as reading on the back of an alleged alliance with the opposition People's Democratic Party members to clinch the leadership posts in both chambers. As President Muhammadu Buhari prepares for his U.S. trip to meet President Barack Obama, the final decision of those who will make the delegation of the president to the United States and other logistics on the impending trip will be taken on Tuesday. Buhari is scheduled to meet with Obama on July 20 at the White House. Topping the list of the agenda is Nigeria's current fight against the Boko Haram sect. There are reports that Buhari will be accompanied by 5 state governors, including Abiola Ajimobi of Oyo State, Rochas Okorocha Imo, Adams Oshomole of Edo, and 2 others when he meets Obama in Washington, D.C. later this month. Lagos Pastor Tunde Bakari and former member of the House of Representatives Farouk Adamu were also said to have been penciled as part of the delegation to the U.S. The presidency on Sunday said President Muhammadu Buhari would not force those who will emerge as ministers and aides to take part in the salary cut. Buhari and Vice President Yemi Osinbajo had on Friday announced the decision to take only 50% of the salary approved for them by the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission. The president's current annual remuneration, as approved by RMAFC, is put at 14 million naira, but he had opted to be earning 7 million per year throughout his 4-year tenure. The vice president's annual remuneration is 12 million, but he also opted to be earning 6 million naira per annum. The development fueled speculations that Buhari may force those who would appoint into his cabinet to take the same decision. The senior special assistant to the president on media and publicity, Madam Garba Shehu, has said the decision by Buhari and Osinbajo on their salaries is personal to them. Meanwhile, the Senate President, Bukola Saraki, has said it was under his leadership that the Senate first initiated moves to have a downward review of the total package accruable to legislators in the upper chamber. Immediately after the inauguration, Saraki, who spoke through his special advisor on media and publicity, Yusuf Olaniyonu, in Abuja, explained that the question of whether the Senate would follow the footsteps of the presidency by cutting their salaries did not arise. Saraki said he invited the management of the Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Commission for a briefing on the actual amount being received by lawmakers as salaries and allowances, in line with his decision to maintain transparency in handling the affairs of the National Assembly. On the other hand, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara, avoided giving a direct answer on whether he would follow the President and Vice President example by cutting his own salary by 50%, or advising members to do so. We'll take a break now and we'll be back with more stories. Don't go away.
Some pundits believe that as long as the political system is driven by selected few, corruption may be difficult to fight.
You should be careful about what you say. I am not the only politician. Even if I've wronged anyone, it is time to forgive me.
Please for Arena every Sunday at 9:15 p.m. and a repeat broadcast every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m.
This is what the people are saying.
You don't run a big economy with generator. They need to do more in terms of energy and power.
Many things to do for this Nigeria about lights, water, and new TT.
For Nigerians that are not gullible, we know that good laws have done nothing good for this country.
Buhari won the election convincingly.
Talk to your husband that you should keep promise about what you said, and because people are watching you, you know, another election is coming.
Also, some people will stand for Yoruba land, will be strong man. You don't die.
This nation is moving forward. The best is going to take place.
The people giving voice to the voiceless.
Welcome back. You can get all of our top stories on any of our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/CoreTV News. Our Twitter handle is at CoreTV News NG. We're streaming live on YouTube. It's youtube.com/CoreTV with a space and news. The All Progressives Congress has asked President Muhammadu Buhari to probe the administration of former President Goodluck Jonathan over $5.5 billion dividends said to have been paid to the federal government by the Nigeria Liquefied Natural Gas Limited. A statement by the National Publicity Secretary of the All Progressives Congress, Lai Mohammed, on Sunday urged the Buhari-led federal government to also probe the taxes and dividends accruable to the Jonathan administration through the NLNG in the last 6 years. The statement said apart from the said $1.6 billion, the NLNG payment for 2015, NLNG also paid $1.4 billion as income tax, education tax in May 2014 and paid $0.3 billion as education tax to the federal government in 2011, 2012, and 2013, as well as paying $1.2 billion in VAT and withholding tax to the federal government since 2009. These payments, according to him, are just those made in the past 6 years alone. Hence, there were other payments before then. In addition, dividend payments totaling about $4 trillion was paid to the federal government between 2004 and 2009 out of which only 127,851,348.19 billion dollars was credited, million dollars rather, was credited to the federal government's independent account. The All Progressives Congress in Rivers State has dismissed claims by the People's Democratic Party that it's behind the takeover of local government secretariats in the state by the police. Rivers APC Chairman Davis Ibiamo Kaya said in a statement issued on Sunday in Port Harcourt that the allegation against his party was baseless and without any foundation. Kaya explained that the APC was not a lawless party like the PDP, insisting that his party has no hand in the occupation of the council secretariats by the police. The PDP has accused APC of being behind the takeover of local government secretariats in the state by the police. Meanwhile, security operatives that had been at various local government secretariats in the state have vacated the place. It was also gathered that the vacation of the council secretariats was on the orders of the Inspector General of Police, Solomon Arase. Following the oil spillage disaster that befell the people in Ohaji, Igbima, the Imo State House of Assembly, the last sitting called on the entire oil companies in the state to compensate the victims. The House, having deliberated on the matter, found the oil companies wanting and as such invited every one of them to the House. According to some of the members, they said the incident is as a result of negligence on the part of the oil companies operating around the axis, and they called on them to live up to their responsibility. Of course, the details of that report will be brought to you subsequently. A former Speaker of the Ekiti State House of Assembly and Chieftain of the All Progressives Congress, Femi Bamishile, has expressed confidence that the party will reclaim Ekiti from the People's Democratic Party in 2018. He described the loss of the state to Governor Ayodele Fayose in the 2015 governorship election under Kayode Fayemi's administration as a temporary setback. Speaking on Friday during a meeting he convened and attended by stakeholders from all the 16 local government area, the ex-speaker, who defected to the APC about a year ago, said he had intentions to contest the 2018 governorship election. Bamishile enjoined members to embrace whoever is appointed Minister for Ekiti by President Muhammadu Buhari as the leader of the party in the state. He also appealed to them to work hard for the party by reaching out to commercial drivers, motorcyclists, teachers, civil servants, artisans, as well as market men and women and other critical stakeholders to make the dream of recapturing the state a reality. The new Commissioner of Police, Ogun State, CP Abdulmajid Ali, has read out riot act to officers and men of the command to brace up and be more committed to duties, as it will not tolerate any crime or police unprofessionalism recorded in any part of the state. The Commissioner made this known on Monday while addressing officers and men of the command in his Elewero office. He reinstated his dedication to the paradigm shift in the Nigeria Police and the ongoing reform policies of the Inspector General of Police, IGP Solomon Arase, as well as his plans to implement same across board in Ogun State to have people-oriented policing. In a press release by Ogun State PPRO DSP Olumuyiwa Adejobi, Ali reiterates the launch platforms by the Inspector General through which members of the public can lodge their complaints or ugly experience with the police personnel who engage themselves in unethical or unprofessional conduct. The platforms include CP's hotline 080-5588-5544, Force Complaints Officer 070-5679-2065, and PPRO numbers, which are 080-371-68147 or 081-238-22910. He assured the good people of Ogun State of adequate security of lives and property and a respectful and professional police command that can make Nigeria proud globally. Lagos State Governor Akinwumi Ambode on Sunday assured residents in Ekpe area of the state that the ancient town will witness infrastructural development in the course of his administration. The governor, who gave the assurance while speaking at a special Ramadan lecture held at the premises of the Ekpe Local Government Council, thanked the people for the support shown to the All Progressives Congress during the electioneering campaign, promising that the development of Ekpe is uppermost in his heart. He assured residents of the area that his government will reciprocate the gesture by carrying out infrastructural projects that will make life comfortable for them. The news of a community in Kwara State, Orago, hit headlines on the communal clash raging on between the Fulani herdsmen, leading to the arrests of some members of the community and taken to Abuja. This has also sparked protest and petition to the Inspector General of Police by the community through the National Human Rights Commission. In this report, CoreTV crew visited the community to dig deep into the matter. Rashid has details.
Oroago community in the Ifelodun local government area of Kwara State is known for its peaceful nature until last month when crisis erupted between the community and Fulani herdsmen. The herdsmen allegedly broke an agreement not to come with weapons at the market days. This led to fight which claims 2 lives, 1 each from both sides. However, 10 members of the community have been whisked away under questionable circumstances by the police, and this leads to the Oroago community to petition the National Human Rights Commission. President of Oroago Development Union, Richard Olushola, accused the police of taking sides in a long-drawn feud between cattle rearers and farmers in the community.
To me, police, they are to serve us. They are to serve us. They are to ensure our security. All right? If police, that should ensure security, civil, as much as possible, now had to result into shooting, intimidating, and then resulting into brutality. Not protecting us any longer, then something must be fishing there. And that is why in my petition, I actually use one word, that they were working in tandem with the Boros.
The head of the National Human Rights Commission in Kwara State, Abdul Ghani Sulaiman, also affirms the receipt of the community's petition by the national headquarters.
The Human Rights Commission in Kwara State is not handling the matter because the petition is not received here. The petition was forwarded to our headquarters in Abuja. So the headquarters is handling the matter, and it's only the headquarters that can give you an update on where the matter is right now. The status quo should be maintained. Everybody should be at peace and allow the constituted authority to handle the issue. I can assure you that once the petition has been received by the Commission, they will definitely pursue it to a logical conclusion.
Defending the arrest of the community leaders, the State Police Public Relations Officer Ajayi Okesami noted that the state headquarters has no say in the arrest, as policemen came from the force headquarters in Abuja.
What I can say about that is, for now, the matter is out of Kwara State Police Command's hand. We did the preliminary investigation. We were asked to transfer the matter back to Abuja. And like you know, command is under the federal, it's under the force headquarters. So it is important for them to have come, maybe in the course of the investigation, to pick 1 or 2 persons. And they don't have any reason to cause to us. They can only come to us to show them the way, you understand, to get into that place, since they are not residing in Kwara State. But now they have done that, the investigation is being handled by Abuja, and any inquiry will be directed to them at the force headquarters in Abuja, the first CI in Abuja.
The Oloro of Oroago calls for calm and quick intervention from the state and federal government.
We just come to our aid because they create a lot of fear to our people. Because these bureaus, they were saying they will be coming and hundreds to come and attack us. They've been phoning our people here. They will soon come and deal with us. And I think the state government the federal government itself should do something between the community and the bureaus, because they've been causing havoc in other villages beside our town here.
However, efforts made to locate the Fulani herdsmen that the community has proved abortive as they have fled their abode in the village while several meetings fixed with leaders of the association at the state capital could not materialize. While efforts are ongoing to locate the whereabouts of the 9 arrested members of Uruago community, the question on the lips of many is why the state police was bypassed and arrest in a community clash was effected from the force headquarters in Abuja. However, with the look of things, the greatest gift that can be given to Uruago community once again is peace. Rashid, CoreTV News, Uruago, Kwara State.
Stories outside Nigeria next after this break.
As news breaks, people don't let events pass without giving their comment or reactions.
When the problem arises in society, these are the people that should be consulted.
To cleanse the corruption in society, we are not to provide information for good life and also security of life and property in this country.
The academic society have the loudest voice on this platform.
Whether you call it a sovereign national conference or a national conference, it is about the people of Nigeria.
There should be a change in power. In any way they can do it.
I think there's a script already.
Every Tuesday at 8:45 p.m. on this station. From the Ivory Tower, a must-watch for the learning minds.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, our 24-hour news station.
Welcome back. Outside Nigeria, Eurozone leaders have agreed to offer Greece a third bailout after marathon talks in Brussels. Amid one of the worst crises in the EU's history, the head of the European Commission said the risk of Greece leaving the Eurozone had been averted. Of course, Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras said that after a tough battle, Greece had secured a growth package and debt restructuring. Greece will now have to pass reforms demanded by the Eurozone by Wednesday. And these include measures to streamline pensions, raise tax revenue, and liberalize the labor market. An EU statement spoke of up to 86 billion euros of financing for Greece over 3 years. Athens has been offered a third bailout. The specter of a failed state, they say, has now been avoided, and Greece will stay inside the euro. But the deal has left many Greeks humiliated. It's not just the ranks of the left that are using the word surrender. Of course, Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras will have to rush key measures on pension reforms, tax increases, and a debt repayment fund through Parliament. Russian officials have confirmed that a section of a Russian military barracks has collapsed, killing 23 soldiers near the Siberian city of Omsk. Further 19 servicemen have been pulled alive from the rubble. 5 others missing. There were more than 300 soldiers in the training facility for paratroopers when the accident happened overnight. The building underwent repairs a year ago. It's expected that poor quality work may have caused the collapse. An investigation into possible negligence has been launched. All 19 soldiers pulled out of the rubble alive were injured, and the most seriously hurt were taken to Moscow for treatment. And now to Iraq, where the Iraqi army announcement of the offensive comes 2 months after ISIL seized Ambas capital Ramadi. A military statement on Iraqi state television has confirmed that Iraqi troops, backed by mainly Shia militias, have launched offensive to recapture the Anbar province from Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant. The announcement of the offensive comes 2 months after ISIL seized Ambar's capital Ramadi, extending the control over the Sunni Muslim province west of Baghdad. Hadi al-Ameri, commander of the largest Shia force, the Badr organization, told Iraqi television on Sunday he expected the main assault on Fallujah to take place after the Eid holiday at the end of Ramadan later this week. French police are now hunting for 3 armed men who stormed a Primark store in a suspected robbery attempt north of Paris. The gunmen fled the scene after several forces evacuated 18 people trapped inside the Quartz shopping center in Villefort-la-Garenne. None of those released 18 people was injured. The area around the shopping center has since been shut down. The incident began early on Monday and lasted several hours. Another police source said an employee first alerted her boyfriend of a hold-up at around 7 o'clock when she sent him a text message saying they had been taken hostage by 2 armed men. Reports just reaching us says President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the appointments of new service chiefs and national security advisor for the country, following the sack of the former security chiefs. The appointment, which was contained in a statement by the special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Femi Adesina. Of course, the new appointments, according to the statement, are Major General Abayomi Gabriel Olonishakin, Chief of Defense Staff, and Major General Tiwa Buraita, Chief of Army Staff, Rear Admiral Ibukete Ekwe Ibas, Chief of Naval Staff, Air Vice Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, Chief of Air Staff, and Air Vice Marshal Monday Rico Morgan, Chief of Defense Intelligence. And of course, Major General Babagana Mugono retired as the National Security Advisor. Bring you details of that story later on. And now to business. The World Bank and the International Monetary Fund, IMF, have said they would establish an initiative to help developing countries strengthen their tax systems ahead of the Financing for Development Conference scheduled in Ethiopia. According to a recent joint statement carried by the official websites, the two bodies vowed to deepen the dialogue with developing countries on international tax issues with an aim to help increase their weight. The two international financial institutions also plan to develop diagnostic tools to help member countries evaluate and strengthen their tax policies. During the gathering scheduled for Monday to Thursday, heads of state and multilateral institutions, as well as representatives from private sector, would discuss how to scale up financial strengths to meet the Sustainable Development Goals. Chinese Finance Minister Liu Jiwei is expected to represent President Xi Jinping at the event. The deposit money banks in the country have commenced implementation of charges on cash withdrawal in excess of the stated limit. This follows the suspension of charges on withdrawals for both individual and corporate account holders in 30 states of the Federation till July 1, 2015. The Central Bank of Nigeria had in June 2014 explained that the waiver was given to give banks time to deploy adequate infrastructure required to support the sensitization of bank customers on the importance of the policy. Consequently, messages have been flying from the banks reminding their customers of the nationwide implementation of charges on excess withdrawals. The cashless policy applies to all accounts, including collection accounts, that all sub-accounts linked to the same account holder would be treated as one account for both corporate and individual accounts. The Managing Director, Bank of Agriculture, BOA, Professor Dambala Danju, has called for the repositioning and funding of the agriculture sector to boost food production in the country. Danju said in an interview with newsmen in Abuja that he hoped the federal government would inject more funds in the Bank of Agriculture for farmers to access. He says agriculture was a key sector for the government of Nigeria and indeed for governments in Africa because majority of the population was into agriculture. He added that the BOA could be repositioned to be one of the leading banks not only in the country but also in Africa. The BOA Managing Director said the bank was central to promoting youth employment, diversification of the economy, and generally uplifting the life of the vast majority of the people. He stressed the need to prioritize agriculture above the oil sector so as not to only feed Nigerians, but also to earn more income for the country. The Nigeria's financial situation may get worse if the prediction of the International Energy Agency (IEA) is anything to go by. According to the agency, oil prices may fall further this year because the world remains massively oversupplied before markets tighten in 2016. Nigeria's economy is experiencing some difficulties because of the decline in the price of crude oil. The country's current daily production averaged 1.8 million barrels per day, as against projected 2.3 million barrels per day in the 2015 budget of the government. According to the IEA, there will be no overall production growth outside the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, next year for the first time since 2008. Meanwhile, the halt in non-OPEC growth projected for 2016 contrasts with an expansion of 1 million barrels per day this year and a massive 2.4 million in 2014. IEA added that Russia's production will slip next year to 10.86 million barrels a day from 10.98 million. And now to stories making a headline in the sports arena. Manchester United have completed the double signing of German midfielder Bastian Schweinsteiger and France international Morgan Schneider. Of course, the first player, Schweinsteiger, 30, has signed a 3-year contract from Bundesliga champions Bayern Munich for a reported $14.4 million. Schneider has moved from fellow Premier League club Southampton for a fee in the region of $25 million. The 25-year-old midfielder has signed a 4-year contract with the option to extend it by a further year. United have already signed forward Memphis Depay and defender Matthew Damin this summer, and the two new arrivals take their spending to more than $80 million. Chelsea have signed goalkeeper Asmel Begovic from Premier League rival Stoke City for an undisclosed fee, reported to be $8 million. The Bosnian-Herzegovina international joins Chelsea on a 4-year deal. Stoke had hoped to keep the 28-year-old, who had 1 year remaining on his contract at the Britannia Stadium. I've loved my time at Stoke, but feel I had to take this opportunity to continue to develop and challenge myself as a player, says Begovic. Begovic, who joined the Porters from Portsmouth in 2010, is the champion's second signing of the summer, following the arrival of Radamel Falcao on a season-long loan. And that wraps up this hour at CoreTV News. Do join us again at the top of the hour for more. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. Thanks for being there.